I want you to think about this. Our forefathers, the people who founded this country, founded upon work experience and moral principles. They set the country up economically and morally based on biblical principles. And from that, we got our Constitution and our Declaration of Independence, our Bill of Rights, and all of the things that we adhere to today to make our country work. Our forefathers came into office, served a term, and then went back home to their businesses. The point I'm stressing is that the people we have now in office doesn't have that experience, that business experience. They doesn't have that moral fortitude to go in and serve their term and then quit. They have made politics a career. They come in and they stay in and they learn each other and get together with each other and they form these cliques and cults and whatever else you can think of, and then they become rulers. So I'm pointing this out to say this, that our political system today is so corrupt till it is creating a system to drag the country down. And I say that because that's exactly what is happening. But we're getting a glimpse of what business can do for politics. And I say that because we now have a businessman who is a politician in our president of today. He knows business and he's operating on business principles combined with politics. So he's able to do things that the people before him wasn't able to do in these recent years, in this modern age, you see. They were not able to do that because they have no business experience. So to them, money and banking is foreign. To them, economics, supply and demand, that's foreign. They just do whatever they think people would like to see them do so that they will vote for them again in the next election season. And that has been destructive to our country. The gentleman in the office now, President Trump, is a businessman and he don't see things that way. So going in, the politicians learn to hate him for what they knew that he would stand for. They knew that he would change the system, in other words, because you have to look at things and you have to think on your feet. Donald Trump was a successful businessman, billionaire, building, making deals in construction, ran the Miss America beauty pageant, ran the TV show, the where he always said, "You're fired." I can't even think of the name of it because I didn't watch it. I saw it every now and then. But at any rate, this guy was popular to the politicians as long as he stayed in that arena. They hit him up for money because he was a donor. And believe it or not, he was a Democrat. That's the funny thing. But continuing, he decided to run for president and instantly he became the devil. He became the most hated man in America. And true to form, the Democratic Party set out to destroy this man. And they set out to destroy him the way they set out to destroy anybody that thinks differently than they do. And he just changed his mindset. And he was no longer welcome in their party. And again, they went after him with reckless abandonment. And you know that. You've seen it. And you still see it today. Everything that he does in that White House is wrong. And they have the Democrats now standing with the illegal aliens, for instance. Donald Trump is deporting all of these people that the Democrats opened the border and just let walk in. He's putting them out now, and they are against that. They're taking him to court, saying you can't send these guys away. You got to let them stay here. You got to give them due process. But nobody said anything about due process to come in. It's just now that Trump is sending them out, due process is very important now. So we got to go by the law. But coming in, no due process. Just let them come in. And then we have this other organization that President Trump has set up, DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. There's a website. You should go to it. DOGE, DOGE.com. And you can see all of the things that they are discovering and trying to eliminate. And who are against it? The Democrats. Not because it's a bad idea or a bad thing, it's because President Trump initiated it. They are willing again to let the country go to hell rather than to join him in the good things that he's doing and save the country and make the country great again. This is the problem that we have with our government today. It is divided. And the Bible says that a house divided cannot stand. So we're on the brink of destruction, and we don't even know it because we're looking at this man as being the devil, who is actually stepping in and being a savior. I never saw so much glee as I saw Monday and Tuesday. Every time I turned the TV on, somebody would say, oh yeah, just goes to show you Trump's made a mistake and the country is going into recession and we're going to lose everything because he's put tariffs on everybody. They didn't even stop to explain or to look and see why he was putting the tariffs on everybody. Because everybody has put tariffs on us. But not knowing business, nobody never thought anything of it. This is business as usual. Yeah, we'll pay them to let us put our stuff in their country. But they can put anything they want in our country and it's okay. Because we are America, and we have open hearts and open borders and open minds, and we all have a forward-thinking vision. But we're killing ourselves. And now he's bringing all of that to light, and they don't even care that it's a good thing. They care that he's doing it, and he's supposed to be the devil and can't do anything good. Everything he does is supposed to hurt or destroy. They talked about their Social Security. They lie all the time. Your Social Security is going away. If you look at Doge, you will see why the Social Security was going away. There are millions of people drawing Social Security who don't even exist. So who is drawing that Social Security? There are millions of illegal immigrants drawing Social Security who haven't paid a dime into Social Security. I mean, we're paying people just to pay them on Social Security. I went on the Doge website and looked at it the other day, and there was 3 million and some people that was over 150 years old who was drawing Social Security. Where are those people? But the Democrats say, oh no, they're going to kill your Social Security. They're going to destroy your Social Security. But you know what happened? I got a letter from the Social Security telling me that I'm getting retroactive Social Security from not getting the Social Security that was due me because I had a pension coming. So I got a check from Social Security that I didn't even know that I had or was going to get. and my Social Security has gone up. But he is destroying it. I'm telling you, Democrats are dangerous. And you have to understand they're dangerous because of what they do. And we should be able to see that. And this is the part that breaks my heart with the Democrat people. I look at them, and generally you can just look in their eyes and see that they're empty. There's nothing there. But they hate Republicans. They hate Donald Trump. And they will do anything to destroy him. But again, I hearken back to the Democratic Party being evil and destructive themselves, is that Donald Trump was a Democrat, and now they hate him and try to destroy him. And then I stopped and thought, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is now the Secretary of Health, he was a Democrat. His daddy, his uncle, JFK, Bobby Kennedy, his daddy, and his uncle Ted, and all the rest of those Kennedys before him was Democrats. They are probably flipping over in their graves right now that he's operating as a Republican or on the Republican team. But do you see what the Democrats did to him? They are trying to destroy him too. That soon as he had a different idea, they tried to destroy him. And he had to come here for survival to the Republican side. He had to come here for survival. And there was another one, Tulsi Gabbard, who it was a military officer and a congresswoman, had a different idea, and they set out to kill her or to put her in jail. She was a Russian agent. She was everything. So she had to flee to the Republican side. I'm just saying, if you are a Democrat and you can't see what your party does to people, there's something terribly wrong with your psyche, but I understand what it is. It is just that your eyes are blinded. The Bible talks about it. Your eyes are blinded. You won't open your eyes to the truth because you just don't want to. This is what it is, and this is the way it's got to be. But if you ever stop to look, I'm thinking now of the people who run for office on the Republican side. If they don't clean up their act, the Democrats will destroy them. Not because they have a different policy idea, or not because they want to do something for the country that's different from them, but because they want to destroy them. They hate them. They never go after them for what they believe or what they think. They always dig up their past. They go back into their past. I hearken all the way back to Clarence Thomas. They went and dug up Anita Hill. He was sexually harassing her. I listened to that trial because I had to have nothing else to do on the way home from work. It took me about 2 hours on the 10 freeway. So I just listened to the Clarence Thomas hearing. And it was amazing that he never touched her. He never said anything directly. It was the way he looked at her. And one day he told her there was a pubic hair on her Coke can or something. It was all sexual harassment to her. But in the end, after Clarence was sworn in, he had won the case in court, and it turned out that Clarence Thomas was married to a white woman and didn't even go for black people, black women, that is. Didn't fancy black women. He fancied white women and had married a white woman. So, I mean, that came out in the end. And Clarence Thomas is still there. And where's Anita? You don't know. And think something so recent as what's his name? Burt Kavanaugh. You could look at Burt Kavanaugh and tell that he was a choir boy. I mean, Burt Kavanaugh to me looked like a nerd. Some guy who just went to church on Sundays, minded his own business, and tried to do everything right. He just had that innocent look. But they dug up a woman who said, oh boy, when we were in school, he ran an operation where he had men just coming in having sex with me. He was a ringleader of having men coming to sex with me. And I was shocked when Bert Kavanaugh admitted, yeah, I liked my beer at that time, but I didn't do that. I was surprised that he even liked beer because I thought he was just an innocent guy. But this woman, she didn't know when that happened. She didn't know where it happened. And she didn't know the names of nobody except a friend of hers who supposedly went with her. And that friend didn't know a thing about it. But they dug her up. And that's what they do. They dig up old stuff. Trump, same way. They dug up women who, oh yeah, he touched me here. He raped me over there. He said this, he did that. But then nobody stopped to think that here's a guy who is 70-some years old, who doesn't have a criminal record, has never done anything that you could point at, don't even know if he's ever had a traffic ticket, who ran the Miss American beauty pageant, who had access to the most beautiful girl from every state in the union, who was young and naive, who he probably could have took advantage of, but he never did. But here's these women showing up. Oh, he drugged me into the dressing room, into a department store. Now, what fool would do that? But these are the things that the Democrats drag up and put on people. And everybody, oh, he's a terrible. They never stop to think, wait a minute, who is this guy? This is a guy who had access to the prettiest women in the world. Young, innocent girls, didn't know right from wrong to a certain extent. He could have molested her, but he didn't. But here now he's grabbing these old married women who passed their prime, and he's really after them. Oh, he can't do without them. He's got to touch them. So I'm just pointing out to you people, think about these things. Don't just run with what you hear. Stop and think. Stop and think. And the Democratic Party is a destructive, hateful, evil group of people. And that's just the way it is. And it's verifiable. It's verifiable if you just stop and look at them. Just stop and look at them. Forget what they say. Watch what they do. And you will come up with the conclusion that it is a place that you don't want to be. Last, before I bore you to death, they put Joe Biden in office without putting him on the campaign trail, which tells us that there's something wrong with this picture. Trump's out campaigning every day all over the place, but Joe is in the basement doing podcasts, what I'm doing now, sitting up talking in the camera and not doing anything. But he won that election, so they say. I'm skeptical about that too. He won that election. Don't think so, folks, but they said he did, so we accepted that. Nobody tried to assassinate him. Nobody tried to throw him out of office through the legal system or nothing else. We questioned the election, and he was in, and he went on about his business. Whatever business he could go about. Because when you look at Joe Biden again, you could clearly see that he was not all together. Bless his heart. Whatever they were doing to him or whatever they were giving him that gave him the ability or the strength to get up and go out there every now and then, because you didn't see him a lot. He was not a lot. Look at your TV. If you turn your TV on today, Trump is on TV talking about something. No notes, just talking about something. Intelligently, mind you. Joe had notes and still couldn't pull it off. He couldn't walk off the stage the same way he walked on. He'd head off in the other direction. Somebody would yell at him or go get him and bring him back the other way. The guy fell 3 times going up the steps to get on the airplane. And several times he did that stumbling act going up to it. they had to eventually have him come off the back end of the plane because it was lower and it didn't have as many steps to come on. And they put some tennis shoes on him that supposedly had gripping soles so that he wouldn't stumble and fall. And you saw him at the Air Force Academy graduation where he fell trying to get back to his seat. He rode a bicycle up, just stopped, and just like this comedy skit that used to be on one of the TV shows where a guy would ride a tricycle real fast and he'd come to a stop and just fall over. He pulled that stunt. So you could clearly see that Joe was not all there. But they ran him and they carried him through, and they was even running him for re-election in that condition. And now people are beginning to talk about it. And books are coming out with little bitty tidbits. And I understand there is going to be one out real soon that is going to unveil the whole story. But you know what the Democrats are saying about this? They're saying, oh, well, that's old news. Let's just look forward. Let's just move forward. Why should we go back and look at it? But when it's their opposition, I mean, they'll go back to the day when you was in the crib and spit up on the nurse that tried. Oh, he spit up on his nurse when he was 6. You knew he wasn't going to be no good. So, I mean, they go back to as far as they can find you to talk about what you did. But the things that they do, let's just move forward with that. Well, that's old news. Let's just move forward. We've gotten past that. But pay attention and keep your eyes open and look for this new information that's coming out in this new book on our previous president, Joe Biden. And you'll see what danger the Democrats put this country in, which will tell you that they're not fans of this country. Because if they were, they would help Trump get his agenda going and get it passed and get through this thing, get us back on our feet. But they are against this country for some apparent reason. It's just evil. That's all it is. And what they don't seem to realize is that when the country go down, they go down too. Which proves my point. The Democrats are so evil, they will kill themselves just to kill you. Think about that.